Let's start again. This is the second lesson of example demonstration on perspective. I am excited now. Because I, as a teacher, even get tired about the theory part. I can't add any jokes in it. Only when we draw can I feel easy to communicate with you. When it comes to perspective, there is a recommended method. That's to design some simple props. We could try 3 perspectives on this prop. Draw this prop only. This is still the course for the beginners. So after thinking it over, I decide to start with a simple prop. For practice, design a simple prop for practice. At the beginning, I choose to press Shift to drag a box. To create a prop just like the cross. Maybe I will add some decorations on it. Generally speaking, I will design it with more simple conversions. This kind of practice is also highly recommended for you all. If you don't want to make design practice, you can find props with simple structures, including weapons like hammer and axe. Knife is not recommended, it is too thin to apply perspective. This is a practice for your modeling ability. You can find some planks and woods and other little props for practice. Making it in the perspective you like for practice. Similarly with the method of the book example for last lesson, I will design these conversions to enrich this prop. Painting it gradually into a gorgeous one. This method is suitable for the starters. Many people may want to skip these steps. But going steadily and surely will be better. I used to be a modeler and 2 years original scene designer. Actually, scene artist is the creator of the scene. Sometimes they will be assigned with painting works. I was just adjusting rendering, parameters, retouching photos. To recreate, present the essence of original painting. Thus, I always think in a modular way. It is like to create simple boxes by modeling. Then integrate them by some way. I will design it with some cracks at the edge. Further modify it with more details. Add the patterns at its edge. When you finish the step 2, you could split it into many perspectives. But I'm a teacher, I need to fulfill the higher request. Let's add some challenges. The draft of this little cross is finished now. Actually, I designed it with a scale in its center. But after thinking, I think it's not suitable for this lesson. The main content of this lesson is the perspective, so let's simplify the prop. Then you could learn the main content clearly. Okay? Eliminate the unnecessary lines. Then keep on the operation. If you have done this for a long time, you may enjoy eliminating lines. It's really curing me. Sometimes it brings happiness to me. It's more than to finish a painting. Here, let's draw some cracks. The drawing method of cracks and textures will be especially covered in the next lesson. You could just take it as just my personal show for now. Or virtuosity show. To intrigue your interest and keep you in suspense. In this lesson, I will say no word about my operation and ideas about this part. Or let's make it with wood. This is apparently a portable one. It's quite enjoyable to design such a prop. But when you really start to work in this position, the majority of you may enter in the domestic enterprises. Of course, I fully wish you enter foreign enterprises like EA and Ubisoft. And then, Epic and Rod Games. If so, you may join in some great subjects. Even you enter in the China division, your work will be more open-minded and exercise your capacity. But if you are in the domestic companies, you'll highly probably meet the fate of Chinese animators. That is chinoiserie, Chinese style. Then you may paint tiles for a whole day. It must be boring. Here I omit its pattern and embossment, but just create a cross with high delicacy level. A wooden cross. Then make another one in another perspective. When drawing, I basically follow the principle of perspective, but it may not so obvious. But settings tend to be built in fake perspective, like 45-degree perspective. It is commonly used for setting. The elimination of lines costs us time and patience. But I must display it to you. Here I suggest that you may not design it by yourself. You can find a reference image like me, like this, to practice painting in other perspectives and facsimilate it with different perspectives. I always enjoy painting these wooden patterns on it. Then zoom in to continue painting. Now I'm gradually teaching you a set of painting habits, but what I really want to say is that good habits are better than learning brilliant skills for drawing, because it will affect your efficiency. You may feel concerned about something, just like why choose the lines first. You may search my works. There are few works designed with lines. But why I keep using lines? That's because using lines to paint saves the light and shadow. It's always this problem that there are lots of works here. It requires highly focus on the most important part, with clear target. Thus, I don't want you to be trapped with things, including 3 kinds of sketch relations, which are the important knowledge points later in this course. I suggest you to use lines for brainstorming and design. Try to understand convergences, the texture presentation, and the overall relations of sparseness and denseness, etc. After resetting that, it's like we can deal with real projects with enough experience. We also harvest a lot. We could bring this experience to challenge the next instance. Then the next instance is color and shaping of light and shadow. And there may be no demand of design. We will practice sketch with these designed props we made, including color modulation and so on. Now we basically finish this cross. Then we hide this layer of draft. All settings of Darksiders are basically dealt with lines. So draw with lines is not the old-fashioned one. Instead, it's a clear way for us to paint later on. I'll mention the outsourced painters. In recent years, I kept doing the outsourced project in the company. So in that period, I made contact with clients from Japan more than those in Europe or America. Like the Japanese clients, they provide 3D designers. With basically the drafts. Then start to create after they color it. Because they know, for original paintings and animation production, there is an application principle. Our work is like a specification, and the specification always doesn't have detail like light and shadow and texture. Definitely not. It only tells you convergence, right? For installation. It's like Gundam, and it will not provide details like light and shadow, but basic operation process. Besides, drawing with the lines will finish it quicker. When I was in NetEase, they tend to use lines to draw the spectacles. Then, they only color those important parts like the main building. Sometimes, they even just draw a point on it and link it to color block, attached to a reference image to tell you that stone pillars for that color, tiles for that color, and so on. Check our reference image. They all start to be drawn with lines, and then simply color it. That's the whole process. Time limits. After this one, I will create another delicate one. Then let's make it into 2-point perspective. Or let's make it in the 3-point one. Here's the demonstration. First comes to some simple composition of the layout. The composition will be also the important talk later. because the composition directly affects your work's first visual impression. If your work's composition is pretty good, it will be strong artwork sense, and your work will appear more good by its contrast. Vice versa, it will be your stumble block in seeking a job. So you need not only the excellent painting capacity, but also a good composition capacity. Now I'm going to paint it with its silhouette grounding color. When practicing by yourself, remember to follow this suit strictly. If this is a live lesson, you need to hand your homework then. I check some of them every day, including composition, lines, and design structure. Check it with this process. Because to learn original painting is like to cultivate yourself. This may be curing for the obsessive compulsive disorder people. To paint the grounding color could raise completion of draft. And also for you to check whether the prop's silhouette is right. Although it lacks of light, shadow, and color, there are still lots of details in it. The silhouette is checked merely without details. Well, zoom out for checking. It's really pretty good. Well, next. We'll make this in the perspective. I call this 3-point perspective cross. And this is its vanishing point. Its vanishing points could be far from there, not restricted here. Don't set two vanishing points aside respectively like me. If so, the perspective will be so strong. Its vanishing points could be in the distance or even not painted, but you need to set your vanishing point in your mind actively. Then you could draw a box now. Why choose 3-point perspective? Because I want to give this little prop a sense of vertical feeling to make it look like so grand and religious, like a monument, leading the soldiers to come back to the embrace of the Lord.